Scotland and Argentina, folks. Believe it or not, this is the first game I actually watched this morning, my time. It started at like 4 something in the morning. So, yeah. It's a little bit hazy because I've since watched the All Blacks in England and then the Aussies and the Irish since that game. But a lot happened in this game. We'll go through some of the key events and stats. You guys can let us know your thoughts. But it was action-packed. Lots of tries, lots of cards. Lots of handbags in this game. I guess that's what happens when you meet each other so many times in 1 year. You get on each other's nerves a wee bit, hey? But, no, man, the crowd at Murrayfield will certainly be... Well, they'll be feeling they got their money's worth in terms of, like, entertainment value, wouldn't they? I mean, interestingly, the Scots conceded points pretty much straight from the kickoff, which was, I guess, a bit disconcerting. It was 3-0 early, and very much in the build-up to this game, you're thinking, which Scotland side's going to show up and which Argentina side's going to show up? Because you could legit see plenty of different outcomes. And there were plenty of penalties both ways. I mean, Scotland had a wee crack early. They had a line out. They went wide. And then Hogg ended up passing it into touch. So the skills execution let them down a wee bit, but not for long. Because Tuipulotu gets on the board within about the first 10 minutes. And okay, how many of these tries, I'll have to go back and count them. How many of these tries were Finn Russell spots a half gap, straightens through it, and then one hand offloads to someone else in space? Like, I've watched a lot of rugby since then, but I feel like it was multiple times. Many times. That's certainly how the first one goes over. The commentators were questioning whether the pass was forward, but it looked alright. 7-3 to the Scots early. But then if you want like the skills on display, you could do better than going to Pablo Matera. He's a skilled footballer. I was going to say footballer. Well, yeah, in New Zealand we can say skilled footballer to mean rugby player. But he's probably a skilled footballer in terms of soccer player as well, because he puts in a wee grubber kick, which pretty much means Duhan and Van der Merwe has to carry it back into his own end goal, which means a 5-metre scrum, which leads to attacking pressure for Argentina, which leads to turnover for Scotland, but then leads to Scotland turning it over in their own 22, and then the Argentinians spinning it wide, De La Fuente going over for a try. I swear it all comes back to that kick. So 8 points to 7. Argentinians back in front. You've got a game. Scotland did their kind of best impression of last week's game where they would go full-on attack and then get turned over. It was that man Matera again. They had it multiple times against the All Blacks last week, and they did it again this week. And just when you thought it was going to be a proper arm wrestle, Marcos Kremer went and got himself red-carded. It was the old swinging arm into Jamie Ritchie. He should have pulled out but it was my bicep defence that the Scots got away with the other week. But, nah, it didn't work this time. So, yeah. Unfortunate for Marcos Kremer because he's had pretty good discipline for the most part this year. And Scotland punished them straight away. Finn with the little pump. And then to Duhan van der Merwe makes it 14-8. Graham the next minute. Again, it's Russell with the line break, the offload. Took a 3-on-1. They somehow managed to hold. But when Harris had tried to bust over, Graham's the one who's able to finish off. They probably should have scored a little bit smoother than they did. But they got it. It's 19-8. Happy days. Scotland did try to kind of, I guess, put your head in your hands. Like, just as Scotland are starting to flow, they want to bring the fans back into the game to make sure they know it's going to be a contest, because like Darcy Graham trying to run it out at own 22, they could see the penalty. Argentina maul it, and then I think they hold them up, Scotland, but they eventually do get the try through Alemano not long later. My memory fails on me on that one. There's been too many tries, but yeah, it's 19 points to 15. So, yeah, a few pick and goes and whatnot from memory and from my notes. But yeah, it can't have been that pretty if I don't remember it that clearly. But 19-15, considering they're a man down at halftime, not too bad for the Argentinians. Certainly not game over. However, it kind of goes to custard a wee bit for the Argentinians. Do you have that saying in the rest of the world, something goes to custard?
when it goes really bad, like catastrophically bad. I mean, worse and worse, basically. I mean, Russell sets up the next Darcy Graham try, pretty much the start of the next half. His offload to Hogg, and Hogg with the final pass. So Hogg will get the try assist for that one, but it was Russell that made it 24-15. And then the Scottish scrum gets some pay. Alamano gets himself yellow carded for a clean out, and then Lavanini immediately gets himself yellow carded for a collapsed maul about a minute later. So they've gone from being a man down to 2 men down to 3 men down, have the Argentinians. So generally pretty tough to win a game that way. But wouldn't you know it, I swear, like, there's not many teams that could go, right, we've got 3 extra players in a dominant scrum. How can we concede a try from here? But Scotland find a way to do it. I don't mean to laugh, but because my All Blacks team are equally becoming a team which, I won't spoil any results for today, but can take a situation which you would expect to be one way and then go a completely different way, basically. So I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing kind of with you. But they managed to find a way to concede a try. Dempsey, after their scrum had been stopped, Dempsey trying to offload, loose ball. Orlando is the man who gets it, the veteran, on the counter. And he gets it to Buffelli, who's able to go over for a try. So somehow, 12-man Argentina managed to score a try on the counter. Well done. I mean, Scotland get one immediately back through Tuipulotu to make it 31-22. It had to happen. You can't not score when you've got 3 extra players. But, Russell later missed touch when they were 15v12. So they didn't exactly make the most out of it. I think Carreras, I remember, kicked it straight out on the full. So, yeah, it was a bit messy. Scotland, though, as I said, certainly didn't make the most of the 3-man advantage because the 2 guys came back on not long later. A bit of handbags and then some more handbags. The referee warns them, stop getting the handbags. I feel like Hoggy wasn't there. Probably someone said something about his hair. And then eventually Ritchie and Gajo. Not a good look for the captain. Both get yellow carded for, again, more of the pushing and shoving. So, yeah, Ritchie, if you're going to be captain, you need to kind of not get yellow carded for pushing and shoving, basically. Scotland get held up. You know, another scrum, go again, held up again. So somehow Argentina managed to hold on, but it must be taxing for them because, bam, they concede a try through Redpath. I swear that one was a grubber from Russell. I think that was from Argentina missing touch as well. So 38-22. Hogg gets one after a maul and a couple of passes that put him into a gap, 45-22. And then Graham got the hat-trick to cap off his afternoon. I mean, Argentina just couldn't get out of their own half, and they were knackered. So, 52-22. It's a bit of a hiding. But, credit to Argentina to go and get the last score of the game. Like, you've just had 50 points put on you. You bam, 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 scored 3 tries every 5 minutes for the last 15 minutes. But they go like to the 87th minute for Ruiz to get the try for them. So at least that's a little bit of a feel-good for them. Like, I don't often go with what all the bloody pundits, if they don't know what to say about Argentina, they just go, oh, they got lots of passion. But I mean, you got to have a bit of passion to go 87 minutes when you've already lost the game. You've conceded 50. You're away from home. It's your last game of the international season, but you still want to finish with a try. So credit to them for that. They got it done. The match stats are bonkers, man. 709 run meters for Scotland is huge. 299 for Argentina. Possession 54% Scotland. Territory 55% Scotland. Clean breaks 10-6. The previous game I watched, which was the last game on of the Saturday games, had 3 clean breaks the entire game. Scotland had 10. Even Argentina in a losing shift has 6. So crazy. Defenders beaten 40-11 is about as lopsided as you'll see. Offloads 11-1 in favour of Scotland. I mean, that is having fun, aren't they? They tackled at 92%. Scotland still shipped 29 points. Argentina tackled at 78%, which tends to be a good way to get 52 points put on you. So, yeah, even Super Rugby teams look down on 78%, mate. Darcy Graham, 168 metres, 3 clean breaks, 9 defenders beaten.
Jonny Gray, 16 from 16 tackles. Love big Jonny. Don't forget about the guys who did the tough stuff. It's not just about all these backs getting all these tries. And then Boffelli, 55 metres and a clean break for his try. Matera, 12 from 13 tackles, gets a turnover. But, yeah, there you go. Fun game. I remember most of it. And, yeah, yellow cards, red card, pushing and shoving. Good crowd atmosphere. Treated to a bit of a spectacle. Pity it wasn't a bit closer, but as I said, Argentinians fought to the end. Scotland finished some good moves, and I mean you can see from all the try scorers that the backs were just going riot. So yeah, there you go. You guys let us know your thoughts, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.